St Ives is one of Cornwall's best loved coastal towns, known for its sandy beaches, cobbled streets, historic harbour and long association with art. Scattered around a single rugged headland are a historic fishing harbour, stunning sandy beaches, a jumble of cobbled streets and wide views across the bay. In this video, we'll visit some of the places that give St Ives its unique charm, from the harbour and Downalong to Porthmeor and Porthminster Beaches, with a few quieter corners in between. The harbour has always been the heart of the town and was once one of Cornwall's most important fishing ports. Pilchards were the main catch, and the waterfront would have been a hive of activity, with fishing boats, nets and the buildings here used to process and store the fish. Fishing continues on a smaller scale today, alongside pleasure boats, wildlife trips and a sandy beach that grows considerably as the tide falls. The long stone arm protecting St Ives Harbour is Smeaton's Pier. The pier dates back to the 15th century but was rebuilt in the 1770s by the engineer John Smeaton, designer of the famous Eddystone Lighthouse. He was responsible for the small octagonal lighthouse halfway along the pier. It was actually once at the end of the pier, but this was extended at a later date. Behind the waterfront is St Ives' old fishing quarter, the wonderfully charming Downalong. Its narrow cobbled lanes and tightly packed cottages occupy the neck of land between the harbour, Porthmeor Beach and the island. Once inhabited by fishermen and their families, its winding streets and small stone cottages are now almost entirely holiday rentals. Beyond the town, St Ives Bay sweeps eastwards past the beaches of Hale towards Godrevy Island. Its long sandy shoreline and unusually clear coastal light have made this one of Cornwall's most recognisable landscapes. At the far side of the bay, Godrevy Lighthouse stands on its island, just offshore. The lighthouse and the surrounding scenery are closely associated with Virginia Woolf. She spent childhood holidays in St Ives and later drew on the setting for her novel To the Lighthouse. Little Bamaluz is one of the least known beaches in St Ives. It is tucked below the old fishing quarter, between the harbour and Porthgwidden Beach, and can easily be missed from the streets above. Its size and appearance change considerably with the tide, almost disappearing when the tide is in. On the other side of the harbour is Lambeth Walk, another of the town's quirkily named spots. It actually refers to the beach here, on the route towards Porthminster, and is part of the expansive harbour sands, except when the tide is high. Despite its name, the island is not an island. It's a rugged headland firmly joined to the town. Flanked by Porthmeor and Porthgwidden Beaches, the island offers panoramic views of the town beaches and bay. At its summit stands the diminutive chapel of St Nicholas, patron saint. The Malakoff is one of the easiest viewpoints over St Ives. Situated close to the railway station and bus stop, it looks out across the harbour, the island and the rooftops of the old town. For many visitors arriving by public transport, this is their first full view of St Ives, and a particularly good introduction to the layout of the town and coast below. A lot of visitors never get as far as Tregenna Hill, yet it's a street with its own quiet charm. A hodgepodge of architectural features line this steep little hill, along with an equally diverse range of independent shops. From butchers to boutiques, there's a good mix, catering for locals and holidayers alike. Porthminster is regarded by many as the premier beach in St Ives. It is more sheltered than Atlantic-facing Porthmeor, making it particularly popular for swimming and family beach days. It also has a more genteel feel with a backdrop of terraced lawns and gardens. The beach looks out across St Ives Bay, with Godrevy Lighthouse visible in the distance. Fore Street is St Ives' main shopping street and runs through the heart of the old town. Its narrow cobbles are now lined with independent shops, galleries and cafes, although it still retains plenty of old world charm. Porthgwidden is a cosy sheltered cove tucked away on the eastern side of the island. Its position gives it a more enclosed feel than the town's other beaches. Back in the 1860s there was briefly a lifeboat station here, but the site was soon abandoned because launching from the beach proved difficult. These days it's better known for its beach cafe and two-storey 1930s beach huts. The wharf follows the curve of the harbour and has always been the busiest part of St Ives. Cafes, restaurants, shops and pubs occupy a waterfront that was once dominated by fishing activity. Among its better known buildings are the Sloop Inn, which is said to date back to 1312, although much of what stands here today is far later. The character of the waterfront changes with the tide. At high tide, boats bob close to the harbour wall. At low water, a wide beach opens across much of the harbour. On the Atlantic side of town, Porthmeor is St Ives' main surfing beach. Its exposed position gives it a wilder, more rugged character than the beaches inside the bay, particularly when a large swell is running. Overlooking the sand are historic fish cellars that later became the studios of the artists who made St Ives internationally famous during the 20th century. Front and centre, though, is the Tate Gallery. The Warren is a quaint old lane that winds from the town centre to Porthminster Beach. It is home to a charming mix of cottages, townhouses and small gardens, with occasional glimpses over the bay. Offering some respite from the ever-busy harbour, this is one of the prettiest streets in St Ives. Together, these places show why St Ives has remained one of Cornwall's most popular destinations. The harbour, beaches, old streets and viewpoints are rarely far apart, and there is usually another glimpse of the sea waiting just around the next corner.